Listen up. Greatness only lies on the other side of your comfort zone. Every day you wake up, you have a choice. Stay the same or push yourself to levels you've never seen. You want to know the secret? Your potential is unlimited, but only if you're willing to get uncomfortable. When you challenge yourself, you're telling the world and yourself that you won't settle for average. Here's the deal. Champions aren't born in ease. They're forged in struggle. Michael Jordan didn't ace his first try. He got cut from his high school team. J.K. Rowling didn't publish Harry Potter on page 1. She endured 12 rejections. They challenged themselves when it was easier to quit. So today, I'm calling you out. Set a goal that scares you. Wake up an hour earlier. Hit that extra mile when your lungs burn. Speak up in that meeting when your heart's pounding. Every time you stretch beyond what's comfortable, you build confidence. Remember, growth only happens at the edge of your capacity. Philiply, celebrate your milestones. But don't make them the finish line. They're just pit stops on the journey. Keep challenging yourself every single day. Live with passion, grind with purpose, and never, ever be satisfied with good enough. Because you were made for more. Now go out there and show the world exactly who you can become. Aim for goals that ignite both fear and excitement within you. Those audacious targets that stretch the boundaries of what you believe you're capable of achieving. Growth, comfort, transformation. They're all intertwined in one powerful truth. You cannot grow without stepping outside the familiar. When you wake up each morning and slip into your routine, the same commute, the same tasks, the same mindsets, you're effectively telling yourself that you're content to remain exactly where you are. Comfort is seductive. It whispers lies, telling you that safety equals success, that familiarity equals fulfillment. But true growth demands a price. Discomfort. Imagine your personal development as a muscle. If you never lift weights, that muscle remains flabby. If you only lift the featherweight dumbbells you already handle effortlessly, it never strengthens. To build real strength, you must challenge it. In the beginning, those heavier weights feel like torture. Your arms tremble, your lungs burn, you want to quit. But if you push through even one more repetition, that is where adaptation happens. That microsecond of resolve forces your body to rebuild stronger fibers. Discomfort becomes the crucible for growth. It's the same with your mind, your skills, your character. When you tackle a project that appears just beyond your current competence, learn a new language, master a difficult piece of software, deliver a speech to a nervous crowd, you activate dormant capacities. At first, every step feels awkward. You stumble over foreign grammar. Your fingers fumble, your voice quivers. Uncertainty sits heavy on your chest, and doubt claws at the edges of your resolve. But with each attempt, you learn, you improve, you build mental calluses that cushion the sting of future challenges. To embrace discomfort means to welcome this process. It's saying, rather than skimming summaries, you dive headlong into primary texts and complex problems, welcoming the frustration that precedes understanding. Or you're a professional aiming for leadership. You volunteer to lead high-stakes meetings, mentor a tough colleague, or deliver a keynote address. Those experiences intimidate you, but they also accelerate your growth. In every scenario, the pattern is consistent. Intentional discomfort accelerates development, but commitment is key. If you only sporadically push yourself once in a blue moon, your breakthroughs will be sporadic. You must integrate challenge into your daily rhythm. Schedule that cold plunge first thing in the morning. Block out an hour for deliberate practice at the toughest part of your craft. Volunteer for the assignments that scare you. Create a challenge calendar where each week you deliberately tackle something that stretches your abilities. The steady accumulation of these moments compounds into profound transformation. As you continue to embrace discomfort, you'll notice something remarkable. Your self-belief will skyrocket. You'll walk into rooms and intuitively know you belong. Incorporate rest, reflection, and recovery into your plans. Embrace strategic discomfort, not self-sabotage. Think marathon, not sprint. Ultimately, the single greatest gift you can give yourself is permission to be uncomfortable. Stand up to the voice that says, what if you fail? Replace it with, what will I gain? When you consistently choose growth over comfort, you unlock potential you might never have known existed. Y'all, you become the person who solves tough problems, who inspires others by example, who lives a life defined not by the safer path, but by the road less traveled. So right now, make a pact with yourself. From this day forward, comfort will no longer be your default. When you set audacious goals, you step beyond the familiar and plant your flag in uncharted territory. It's in that space of uncertainty where the risk of failure brushes up against possibility that real transformation occurs. Consider what makes a goal audacious. It isn't merely ambitious. It carries with it the potential to reshape your identity. For example, wanting to get better at sales is fine, but vowing to close $1 million, 0 cents in revenue this quarter electrifies your purpose. It forces you to think bigger, to develop strategies you wouldn't otherwise consider. It requires that you expand your network, sharpen your pitch, and track your metrics with surgical precision. Embrace these roadblocks as part of the journey, not as indicators that you should retreat. Each objection you encounter is an opportunity to refine your approach. When someone tells you that's impossible, use that skepticism as fuel. Let it drive you to prove them wrong, not to prove yourself right. Selma Galax your brain. You're in Chicago. But with great goals come great challenges. The path to a bold target is strewn with obstacles: skepticism from peers, resource constraints, inner doubt. Embrace these roadblocks as part of the journey, not as indicators that you should retreat. Each objection you encounter is an opportunity to refine your approach. When someone tells you that's impossible, use that skepticism as fuel. Let it drive you to prove them wrong, not to prove yourself right. Accountability amplifies the power of audacious goals. Share your objective with mentors, colleagues, or a mastermind group. When you verbalize your goal, you invite others into your mission. They'll ask tough questions, demand updates, and hold you to high standards. This external pressure is a catalyst. It keeps you honest and energized. Knowing that people are watching your progress pushes you to maintain consistency even when motivation wanes. Structure your bold goal with measurable milestones. Break it down into weekly, daily, even hourly targets. This micro-level planning prevents overwhelm. Each small victory builds momentum and reinforces your confidence. If your audacious goal is to run an ultra marathon, map out your training schedule in detail: long runs, interval workouts, cross-training sessions, rest days. Celebrate each completed run as evidence that the bigger feat is within reach. Maintaining focus is crucial. Distractions are the enemies of big goals. Guard your time like a precious resource. Eliminate low-value tasks. Delegate ruthlessly and create rituals that prime you for deep work. For instance, if part of your goal involves writing a book, designate a specific time each morning when your mind is freshest to write. Protect that block from interruptions. Over time, these habits compound, propelling you steadily toward your audacious aim. Psychological resilience undergirds every audacious endeavor. You will face setbacks, investments that go sour, pitches that fall flat, experiments that fail. Prepare mentally for these inevitable bumps. Cultivate a mindset that views failure not as a verdict on your work, but as feedback on your strategy. After a setback, ask yourself, what did I learn? How can I apply that lesson moving forward? This reflective practice turns adversity into advantage. Visualization can be a powerful ally. Spend a few minutes each day imagining what it will feel like to achieve your audacious goal in vivid detail. See yourself standing on the stage, accepting that award, holding that contract, crossing that finish line. Engage all your senses. Hear the applause. Feel the rush of accomplishment. Smell the air. This mental rehearsal primes your nervous system, aligning your subconscious with your conscious ambitions. Equally important is connecting your audacious goal to your deeper why. Why does this matter so much? What impact will it have on your life, on those you care about, on your community? Anchoring your goal and purpose provides enduring motivation when external incentives fade. On days when the path ahead feels steep, recalling your why reignites your drive. Collaboration can elevate your bold ambitions. Surround yourself with people who embody the qualities needed to reach your goal. Experts who can mentor you, peers who will celebrate you, supporters who will celebrate you. Build a minimum viable team, a small group of individuals whose combined talents multiply your chances of success. Leverage each member's strengths and hold one another accountable. Your environment plays a significant role too. Design your workspace and digital spaces to reflect your audacious aspirations. Post reminders of your goal where you'll see them on your desk, in your planner, as your phone wallpaper. Curate your social media feed to include thought leaders and success stories that align with your vision. These environmental cues serve as constant reminders, keeping your goal at the forefront of your mind. Finally, embrace the journey with the learner's mindset. Audacious goals are grand experiments. Be curious, ask questions, seek feedback, and iterate relentlessly. Document your progress. Journal your wins, your roadblocks, your insights. Over time, you will accumulate a wealth of data about what works and what doesn't. This empirical approach not only moves you closer to your target, but also develops your capacity for future bold pursuits. In setting audacious goals, you unlock a powerful paradox. By daring to aim for the extraordinary, you often accomplish more than you ever thought possible. You expand your skill set, build unshakable confidence, and create a blueprint for future successes. Each audacious goal you conquer becomes proof that your potential is boundless. So refuse to play small. Set your sights high, chart your course, and let the audacity of your dreams propel you into the realm of the remarkable. Persistence in the face of failure is the single most transformative force you can harness in your life. It is the trait that separates those who lament their dreams from those who live them out. When you commit to persistence over failure, you're not simply enduring obstacles, you're actively converting each setback into fuel for your journey forward. Failure will come. It is as inevitable as the sunrise. Whether you're launching a business, learning a new skill, training for a competition, or pursuing any meaningful goal, you will encounter times when your efforts fall short. Your proposal may be rejected. Your startup may falter. Your performance may disappoint. Yet it is not the failure itself that defines you, but your response to it. Do you see it as a dead end or as a detour rich with lessons? Persistence over failure means choosing the latter. Over and over again, consider the physics of momentum. An object at rest tends to stay at rest. One in motion tends to stay in motion. Same holds true for human endeavor. When you persist, you keep the momentum of effort alive. Even small steps count. Reaching out to one more potential client, drafting another page of your manuscript. On one most sloppy mile. Each action compounds, and before long, you gain speed, confidence, and clarity. If you give up at the first sign of resistance, you remain stuck at zero, and the inertia of stagnation grows. Persistence requires a mindful strategy. It isn't mere stubbornness without reflection. It's a cycle. Try, assess, adjust, and try again. After each failure, pause to analyze what happened. What assumptions did you make? Which tactics fell short? Which skills need sharpening? This post-fall analysis is critical because persistence without adaptation can be wasted energy. You might find that the fundamental goal needs tweaking, or that you need to acquire new resources or skills. But the key is this: don't let analysis slide into paralysis. Learn swiftly, decide deliberately, and recommit to action. Emotional resilience plays a central role in sustaining persistence. When failure stings, it can impair your confidence and cloud your judgment. That's why developing emotional regulation techniques such as mindfulness, journaling, or talking through challenges with a mentor can be pivotal. These practices help you process disappointment without letting it derail you. You learn to greet each setback with curiosity. What can this teach me? Instead of why me? Stories of iconic successes illustrate this principle vividly. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His relentless experimentation led to the incandescent light bulb. J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter manuscript was rejected by a dozen publishers before finally being accepted. And today it stands among the best-selling series in history. Colonel Sanders traveled the country for years facing hundreds of rejections before KFC took off. These are not tales of blind luck, but of ironclad persistence. You don't need to be inventing revolutionary technologies to apply persistence. In your personal and professional life, every challenge can be met with the same unwavering commitment. If you're aiming for a promotion, prepare your case, deliver results, solicit feedback, refine your approach, and try again if the first bid fails. If you're learning a musical instrument, embrace the awkward scales, the missed notes, and the frustration of slow progress. Schedule consistent, deliberate practice sessions. Track your improvement and adjust your technique based on feedback from a teacher or recordings of yourself. Accountability partners can supercharge persistence. When someone else is rooting for you, checking your progress and demanding honest updates, you're more likely to stay the course. They remind you of your commitment when motivation wanes and can offer fresh perspectives when you're stuck in a rut. Choose partners who will challenge you constructively, not merely comfort you when you're down. Milestones and rituals also help maintain persistence. Break your overarching goal into digestible checkpoints, each with its own mini celebration. These markers of progress inject bursts of motivation and help you see that your efforts are yielding results, even if the ultimate destination is still distant. Pair these with rituals, daily or weekly patterns that signal it's time to work. Whether it's a morning review of your goals, a pre-writer meditation, or a stretching routine before workouts, rituals create a psychological cue that mobilizes your focus, yet persistence alone is not enough when it drags you toward burnout. Self-care is the balancing act that keeps your engine running. Integrate rest days, leisure activities, social connections, and healthy habits into your schedule. Recognize signs of exhaustion, physical fatigue, mental fog, cynicism, and respond proactively. Without recovery, persistence becomes a treadmill to nowhere. Another powerful dimension of persistence is storytelling. You are the protagonist in your own journey, and the narrative you tell yourself shapes your reality. Frame your challenges as plot twists, not dead ends. Remind yourself of past victories over adversity. Keep a win journal where you document every triumph, big or small. When failure looms large, revisit these entries to remind yourself of your capacity to overcome. Surrounding yourself with examples of persistence also reinforces the mindset. Curate a wall of heroes, quotes, images, or biographies of individuals who exemplify grit when you're tempted to quit. These reminders can reignite your resolve. Read biographies, watch documentaries, listen to interviews where people share how they triumph through persistent effort. Transparency about your failures can benefit others as well. When you openly share the setbacks you faced and how you pushed through them, you inspire those around you to do the same. Vulnerability breaks down the myth that success is effortless. It creates a culture where persistence is valued and collective resilience grows. Persistence over failure is not an abstract virtue. It is a practical approach to every endeavor. It's waking up and recommitting after a bad night's sleep. It's returning to the drawing board after your first design is panned. It's writing another rejection email to potential investors. It's dialing one more sales call when you've already heard a dozen no's. It's training through the rain, the cold, the fatigue. It's rewriting that scene in your screenplay for the 10th time. Ultimately, persistence carves out a path through the mountain of obstacles. It tells every no and every not yet that you hear, I hear you, but I'll be back. Over time, persistence reshapes your environment. Doors that once closed begin to open. You build a reputation as someone who delivers no matter what. Opportunities gravitate toward you because people know you won't quit. In a grand tapestry of achievement, persistence is the thread that binds every milestone into a coherent story of progress. It is the lived proof that failure is not fatal. Let it be your guiding principle. Persist, adapt, recommit, and persist again. Through the unyielding determination, you'll discover that failure is not the enemy. It is your greatest teacher and ally on the road to success. Continuous grind is the heartbeat of extraordinary achievement. It's the steady, unrelenting commitment to daily efforts, day in, day out, that transforms aspirations into reality. While passion may spark initial action and talent may offer a head start, it's the consistency of your grind that ultimately defines the trajectory of your success. Whether you're an athlete chasing records, an artist honing your craft, an entrepreneur scaling a business, or a professional climbing the career ladder, the continuous grind is the engine that powers long-term growth. At its core, the continuous grind is about intentional repetition and incremental improvement. When you break down massive goals into daily practices, you create a system that compounds over time. Just as interest in a savings account grows exponentially the longer you invest, your skills and results multiply the more consistently you apply yourself. This compounding effect is subtle at first, often imperceptible on a day-to-day basis, but astonishingly powerful when viewed over months or years. Consider a musician practicing scales for 20 minutes every morning. On day one, the improvement is barely noticeable. By day 30, their fingers move more fluidly. By day 300, they've internalized patterns that serve as the foundation for advanced pieces. The secret lies not in marathon practice sessions, but in the regular, purposeful grind. It's better to practice a little each day than to cram infrequently. Consistency becomes your greatest ally. To embed the continuous grind into your life, begin with clarity on your highest impact activity. I divide the 2 or 3 practices that drive your progress most significantly. If you're a writer, it might be drafting a set word count each day. If you're a salesperson, making a set number of outreach calls. If you're an athlete, a structured training routine. Resist the temptation to chase fleeting trends or multitask across too many fronts. Focus is the force multiplier that makes your grind effective. Next, structure your environment to support unbroken streaks of discipline. Create rituals that cue your brain into grind mode. Maybe you brew a particular tea before diving into work, or you began your training sessions with a specific warm-up. Energy. These rituals, repeated consistently, prime your mind and body to enter a state of deep engagement. Over time, you'll come to associate these cues with productive output, making it easier to slip into flow. Technology can be both a blessing and a curse in the continuous grind. Use it to your advantage by automating reminders, tracking your streaks, and measuring your metrics. Apps that log your workouts, track your word counts, or monitor your sales pipeline can provide real-time feedback and accountability. However, guard against digital distractions. Turn off non-essential notifications, designate tech-free focus windows, and use tools like website blockers if you find yourself habitually drifting into unproductive browsing. Count holdability is another cornerstone of the continuous grind. When you share your daily commitments with others, whether a coach, mentor, or peer group, you add an external layer of motivation. Publicly posting your progress on social media, maintaining a shared spreadsheet of results, or engaging in friendly competition with a colleague can sustain momentum. Knowing that someone else is watching your streak can push you to maintain consistency even when intrinsic motivation wanes. Mindset also plays a pivotal role in sustaining the grind. Embrace a process-oriented mentality rather than an outcome-oriented one. Instead of fixating on the end goal, publishing a book, publishing a big deals, or earning a championship, focus on the daily behaviors and systems that lead there. Celebrate the completion of your daily practice as a victory in itself. This reframing shifts satisfaction from distant milestones to present actions, reinforcing the habit loop and making it more likely you'll grind again tomorrow. However, the continuous grind does not imply an all work, no rest existence. Deliberate recovery is essential. Your body and mind need downtime to assimilate gains, repair tissues, and restore cognitive resources. Strategically schedule rest days, leisure activities, and periods of active recovery like light exercise or creative play. And these intervals recharge your capacity to grind sustainably and reduce the risk of burnout. Feedback loops are critical for refining your grind. Regularly review your metrics, assess what's working, and adjust accordingly. If you're not hitting your daily targets, diagnose the bottlenecks. Is it a lack of time, insufficient resources, or flawed techniques? Be willing to tweak your approach. The continuous grind is not about rigidly adhering to a plan that isn't yielding results. It's about the interplay of persistent effort and agile iteration. As you sustain your daily grind, you'll notice the emergence of keystone habits, small, consistent actions that trigger a cascade of positive changes. For instance, a daily journaling habit may lead to greater self-awareness, improved stress management, and better decision-making. A commitment to morning exercise can catalyze healthier eating, improve sleep, and heighten mental clarity. Recognizing and nurturing these keystone habits amplifies the impact of your grind beyond the immediate activity. The culture you inhabit also influences your capacity to grind. Surround yourself with peers who value consistency and hard work. Join communities, online forums, local clubs, or professional networks where members share progress, exchange tips, and hold each other to high standards. The shared ethos of dedication reinforces your own discipline and makes the grind less solitary. Narrative framing can further bolster the continuous grind. You yourself as a relentless practitioner, someone defined by daily commitment rather than occasional bursts of inspiration. Tell the story of your journey, emphasizing the power of your ongoing efforts. This self-concept not only bolsters your identity, but also serves as a motivational anchor when challenges arise. In the tapestry of achievement, the continuous grind is the thread that weaves individual efforts into a coherent masterpiece. It transforms distant visions into tangible reality, one deliberate action at a time. By focusing on the daily rituals, environment design, feedback loops, and community support that foster consistency, you harness the exponential power of compound effort. Embrace the grind, not as a grind in the pejorative sense, but as the satisfying rhythm of purposeful, unbroken progress. In that relentless cadence, you'll find not just success, but the fulfillment that comes from living aligned with your highest ambition.
The journey you've undertaken through these keynotes, embracing discomfort, setting audacious goals, persisting through failure, and maintaining a continuous grind, culminates in a singular truth. Transformation is neither instant nor accident. It is the product of deliberate, sustained effort over time. Every moment of unease you've leaned into, every bold target you dared to chase, every setback you've turned into momentum, and every day you've shown up to do the work has been an essential stitch in the fabric of your evolving story. As you stand on the precipice of your next challenge, carry forward the lessons you practice here. Recognize that discomfort is not your enemy, but your teacher. That goes beyond your current reach are invitations to expand your identity. That failure is information, not indictment. And that true progress is the compound interest of your daily grind. These principles do not belong to an abstract motivational speech. They are operational guidelines for living a life defined by purpose, resilience, and excellence. Look back at where you started, whether that was a place of uncertainty, self-doubt, or quiet aspiration. And measure not just how far you've come, but how deeply you've changed. The version of you who first heard these truths is not the same person today. You've built mental calluses from pushing past comfort, honed your vision by aiming high, fortified your spirit by refusing to quit, and laid the groundwork for success through unbroken commitment. Yet this is not the finish line, it is the launching pad. Your journey of growth is inherently unending because human potential knows no ceiling. As new challenges arise, and you will draw upon the reservoir you've created. A mindset that thrives on discomfort, a vision that refuses to settle, a grit that outlasts failure, and habits that sustain progress. In every arena of your life, relationships, career, personal mastery, and contribution, these capacities will serve you, multiply your impact, and inspire those around you. So as you close this chapter and step into your next endeavor, do so with the quiet confidence of someone who has done the work. Let the echo of your efforts guide you when the path darkens, and let the momentum of your past victories propel you forward. Commit to the ongoing practice of challenging yourself, to the audacity of dreaming bigger, to the steadfastness of rising after every fall, and to the discipline of showing up day after day. In this way, you will not merely achieve discrete goals. You will cultivate a life marked by continuous evolution. You will become the person who doesn't just succeed, but who reinvents the standards of what success looks like. Looks like. And in doing so, you will leave a legacy far greater than any single accomplishment. One defined by the extraordinary power of sustained, courageous action. Now go out and live it. Keep in mind that the real victory lies not in the trophies you collect or the applause you earn, but in the person you become along the way. Let every trial sharpen your character, every milestone renew your hunger, and every sunrise remind you that you have another chance to outdo yourself. Carry this torch of relentless pursuit into every corner of your life, into your relationships, your work, your dreams, and watch as the world transforms around you. Your story is still being written, and its most remarkable chapters await. So dare greatly, persist unwaveringly, and grind with purpose, and you will not only reach the heights you envision, you'll redefine them. And remember, the only limits that truly exist are the ones you place on yourself. Tear down those walls with every bold step you take. When doubts creep in, let them fuel your determination rather than extinguish it. When you face the inevitable storm, stand firm, knowing that the same winds that try to knock you down are forging your resilience. Let your journey be a testament to the power of relentless action over idle wishes. You're not here to play small. You're here to break barriers, shatter expectations, and elevate what's possible. So rise with conviction, speak with honesty, act with courage, love with generosity, lead by example. And each day, let your life be living proof that when you challenge yourself, set audacious goals, persist through failure, and grind continuously, you don't just achieve success, you become legendary. Now go. The world is waiting for the extraordinary gift only you can bring.